In this video I'm just going to cover a developer tool, which is to create custom points allocation rule types. So this is for when you need to allocate points, usually for sales incentives, using some custom algorithm or calculation. So I'll just have a quick show you what we've got at the moment. So here I've got a sales record that I'm going to be testing with. It's $605. It was it's a sale of a smartphone which has a base cost of $590. I have a data series here which I've called sales claims, and I have currently 3 points allocation rules added. Now points allocation rules, you can have different ones for different groups. So for example, if you have sales managers who are being awarded differently from your sales reps, and also different rules can be activated by promotions, which will apply to sales during specific periods and potentially certain products and things. So as you see, I have a few different ones here. First one I've got here is just a simple rule type. And this is a built-in rule type. You can see we have a little library of rule types here. Simple rule type just lets you specify which group or organization type this rule applies to, and then you can enter a multiplier and an additional amount. So we can see this in operation, which I'll just do now, and a little bit later, by the way. I'm just going to get onto the developer side of things, but just want to make sure we have the basics covered here. So I'm going to take the ID of this record, 1671, hit the test button. Oh, there it is already there. Hit run. And you can see it's calculated some points. So all this is doing, as you can see here, is it's just adding 12. It's not a very realistic points rule configuration, but just to demonstrate the what's going on there. Okay, now this one here, bonus points. So this rule type is normally used on a promotion, and it's when you're going to multiply some other rule. So in this case, I've selected a recognition rule, and I've set a multiplier of 2, and so during the promotional period this will award extra points. Okay, now this one here, this is the one we really want to look at. So this has got the uses a rule type with a very imaginative name, my rule 1, and it's got a couple of fields, field 1 and field 2. So this is where I'm going to show you how to create a rule, how to implement your own logic, and we'll see what we can do with it. Now one thing I'll mention is that if you're doing real development, especially as part of a team, you really need to be using source control, and if you're an experienced developer, you probably have a favorite IDE that you like to work with. Now what I'm going to show you here, just for simplicity's sake, is just editing in the web browser, but just bear in mind that when you're doing real work on real sites, you will normally be using Kademi's ksync tool, and that's where you can edit the file on your local PC using your favorite IDE and maintaining your code in source control, but those files are immediately synced to the server you're working on. Alright, so okay, so what we do is your custom rules are managed. There's this folder here called, repository called queries, which actually holds a lot of different things, and one of the things it holds is custom points rules. And you can see there is an XML file there, which I have open here, and this is where I've defined my custom rule type. And this is where you can see I've got an identifier, a title of my rule 1. I've defined 2 fields, called field 1 and field 2, and I have specified 2 JavaScript functions. Do process. This is the process functions. This is what is going to calculate the points. And the second one is the include function. This is just going to say whether or not that rule applies. Okay, so that's the XML file. The JavaScript file is this one here, points.js. And you can see this is actually very simple at the moment, is included. It's just always returning true. Now what I can do is I can check to see if the sales record is for a person in a certain group or a certain organization. I can check if the product is in a certain category, or if the amount is above or below a threshold. So I can make all of those decisions as to whether or not the rule applies. Now note that whether a rule applies or not is different to the value the rule returns. When a rule returns some value, which could be 0, that is then marked as complete. Whereas if the rule just doesn't apply, it's just not processed. Okay, so here we're just showing a couple of lines here how to access those configured parameters, field 1 and field 2, which I'm not currently using. And at the moment, all we're doing is the sale amount times 2. All right, so let's just see that one in action. So that is this one here. So again, 1671, that's the record we're testing with. And I'll hit run. And so all it's doing is times 2. All right, so the record is $605, so it calculates that many points. Right, so look, let's do something a little bit more fancy. Let's say you wanted to incentivize your sales reps on margin rather than the gross sale amount. So for example, this has a base cost of $590. They've sold it at $605. You know, that's discounted, right? And perhaps that's the thing, right? Your sales team are discounting all the time. So what we want to do is we want to subtract the sale amount from the base amount and then apply a multiplier to that. So in here we have the record, which is an object of type sales data record. That has a method on it called find product SKU, which will return the SKU if there is one. And that has a property on it called product, which gets us the base product. And that has a property called base cost. So I'm going to do base cost equals. Now, to find out what all of these methods and properties are, you would use our documentation site, docs.kademi.co. You can also use logging. So let's do that now. Now, I normally stick the function. Oh, actually, you can see a log statement up there. So I'll say do process base cost equals base cost there. Okay. That's just an intermediate variable to see how we're going. Right, so the margin in this case is going to be record amount minus the base cost. Now, something I need to be careful of is these are actually big decimal, which is a quite a specialized representation of a currency amount. I might just it'll probably be okay. If I have an error with it, I'll convert it to a double. All right, so there's your margin, and let's do margin times 2 for now. Okay, let's see if that works. Right, so we hit test. Right, now firstly is down here you can see the logs. So there is that log that I added with the base cost. And you can see it's calculated 30 points, right? So 15 times 2, yep, that's correct. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now let's say you don't want to have a hard-coded value of 2 though. Right, so let's use this field 1 as a multiplier. So I'm just going to change the title there. I'm going to keep it as field 1 as the identifier. So then we can go, right, now this is just a string. So I want to convert that to a double, so I'll say 2 double. Actually, let's call it multiplier. Now it's good to see what our intermediate variables are. So I'm going to add them to logging. And let's put that down there. And then I can show the margin as well. And need to actually use our multiplier down here. Okay, let's see what we get. run the test. Okay, so now we've got 180 points, and that's because we're using a multiplier of 12, which you can see here. Margin of 15, multiplier of 12, so we get 180 points. Actually, I'll just refresh the screen. There you go, so multiple. Alright, so that's probably all I wanted to show for now. Now, obviously, if you are a developer getting into this, bear in mind you should go through Kademi's developer certification course, which takes you right from the beginning, starts with the basics, shows you how to use source control, how to use ksync, how to use versioning to publish changes safely in production, how to create your own apps. Kademi has a lot of different points of extension, so what you've seen here is just one example, but we have a lot more than that. You can create your own components, templates, your own journey nodes, automations, K-code expressions, all sorts of things. So I'll pop some links into the description below so you can look at a bit more, but as I said, if you are a developer, please get in touch with your account manager at Kademi and get started on that developer course. Thanks, bye.